Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's the Darkest Timeline podcast. So we're talking games, movies, TV, stuff from the week, and anything else that's come up since the last time we spoke. Whilst I've got you, before we get started, it's that point in time where I do ask you to please subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's through YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, or anywhere, in fact, please do take a small moment to subscribe because it does mean the world to us. Right, let's get going. So here we go. This is CookieCast, the Darkest Timeline podcast. Hello. How you doing? You alright? How's your week going? Going well? Good. It's good to hear. So, I want to get your opinion on something. Once a week. That's what it's gone down to now. Once a week. I get a coffee. Treat myself to a coffee. Usually on a Wednesday. Take the youngest dancing. Just round the corner from a well-known coffee establishment, shall we say. So go there, get a couple of coffees to take home, get a baby chino, and everything's happy. But it is a treat because it's once a week, and it costs a lot of money, and so on and so forth. So last Wednesday, went to the coffee establishment, no queue, which was nice. Lady comes to take the order. And you know, that's a situation where you very quickly work out that the person you're being served by is new. It's generally that air of, I haven't got a clue what's going on, or deer in headlights kind of situation. And they were mostly left to their own devices, and then they needed help, and I got asked the same question 3-4 times. And for me, I think my order is fairly easy. I always want the biggest one they've got. I always want the same one I normally have. I get it skinny, trying to watch the figure. And that's kind of it. So, in those occasions where I'm ordering coffee and there's a situation where, you have to repeat your order more than a couple of times, it's like, is it really that difficult? So, placed the order, went to wait, and the drinks came. Now, first off the bat, I am not the sort of person that complains. Now, I know that probably surprises anybody that's listened to this before. But I'm not a person that complains about service. Somebody says, here you go, I'm going to look at it and go, that's not right, but I'm not going to complain about it, so I guess it is right. So the first drink was put down, and I went, that's the wrong size. And then the second drink got put down, And that was also the wrong size. But, like I say, not going to complain. So, picked up the drinks, started walking away, took the child. She did get her baby chino, so, she got what she was looking for. And I'm walking out and I'm like, immediately I'm like, well, who am I angry at here? Am I angry at the person in question, the person who took the order? Or am I angry at myself for not saying, that's the wrong size, I asked for large? So there's that. And then I'm walking back to the car and I get back to the car and I'm like, oh man, it's one day a week, it's one treat, and it's been ruined. So get in the car, put the drinks in the car, set off to drive home, driving home like, and it just ate away at me and ate away at me and ate away at me. And I got home and I said to Leanne, I was like, apparently I didn't want the size I ordered. Apparently I wanted a smaller one. And it was just driving me up the wall. Because it's a treat that I've paid money for, that I, look forward to it. It's a treat. So the fact that it was wrong was, I don't want to use the word upsetting me. I don't think that's the right word. Irking me. But it was proper doing my head in. It was one of those where I had to, I drank my drink and then immediately made a cup of coffee in protest to the situation. And through all of this, I came to the conclusion that it was just me. It was me. I should let it go. So I'm waiting for, I think I was waiting for the kettle to boil or something. I was like, I'll take to social media. Not in protest, I'll take to social media to try and distract myself while I'm waiting for the kettle to boil. And I kid you not. This is no word of a lie. The first thing that came up on Instagram was somebody I have on Instagram complaining that they'd ordered and bought a coffee and the coffee that they got was wrong, and they were livid about it, and they were then telling whoever that you should shop small business, and I was like, well, there we go. It wasn't just me then, was it? It was the spookiest thing. It's like, wow, that's crazy. So, I've been dealing with a few things at the moment. I've been dealing with some issues. As anybody who will listen will know, those issues can often manifest as mental health issues. And I'm going to run through a series of issues. Something that I've been dealing with the last few weeks, and something that's becoming more and more apparent is an age issue. Now, I have never been one of those people who has been bothered by age. Certain things in life you cannot escape, and you cannot escape getting older. Apparently I can't escape getting shit in my drink. I don't know what that's all about. Anyway, you can't escape getting older. It's just one of those facts of life. And it's never bothered me. But in the last few weeks, I have sustained a couple of injuries. One, as we know, was the horrific slip, trip, fall, which caused me to tear my chest muscles. I use the word muscles loosely. I tore all the way across my chest. Whatever's there got torn. The other injury was I was informed that the bath mat in the bath, the item that's ironically there to stop slipping, wasn't correctly secured and would need to be correctly secured to avoid slipping while stepping into the shower. Having been given this information, I promptly forgot, and I think we all know what came next. I stepped into the shower mat slipped, I slipped, and I smashed my knee into the side of the bath, and it hurt. Like, really hurt. I don't know what was hurt more, my I don't know, pride, ego, which is it? You know, at the end of the day, there was nobody to blame on that one other than me. I slipped because I hadn't taken the time to remember a small piece of information. So these are injuries I've sustained over the last few weeks, and as time's gone on, it's like, well, those injuries will heal. But they haven't. And the weeks have passed, and they still haven't healed. And in certain situations, certain positions, doing certain things, doing certain activities, those injuries are still very present. So I'll give you an example. Monday's workout is chest. So when I start the chest workout and I'm like, oh, that injury is still there, and then proceed to go through the entire workout suffering through that injury, realizing more recently that injury's maybe not going to heal. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is the best it can do. Putting my leg in certain positions, I can feel that impact that I suffered from the slipping in the bath. And it's still there. It's still prominent. It's still, at certain points in time, in certain positions, it still feels as fresh as the moment it happened. And what's happened recently is I've started to look at, maybe realize, maybe think about the fact that maybe this is part of getting old. Recently, I was at work. My oldest friend swung by my desk, was like, let's go get a drink. I was like, sure, let's go. And I stood up and I hobbled from my desk all the way across to the kitchen area at work. And he was like, what's wrong with you? What's going on? It's like, my body just gets stiff. And, this was after having run first thing in the morning and then having, walked to the office from parking the car and, being old and all of this. My body seizes when I sit for too long, and sitting at work is just so unbearably uncomfortable. And a list of other things. But the thing that I'm starting to realise, starting to see, is that I'm starting to have to start to accept limitations, body limitations. Things don't heal the way they used to. Things aren't as mobile as they used to be. Things are stiff. Things are achy. Things are, creaky. And that feeling of sadness, I suppose. That feeling of this is what Like, people older than me have been talking about all these years. This is what, when people say, this hurts and that hurts and the other hurts and all of this. And when you're younger, you don't really have that comprehension for stuff. When you get older, it's that, oh, that's what they were talking about all this time. So I'm having to deal with age. And as I've said, something that's not overly bothered me up till this point. And I'm not saying that age is bothering me now. I'm saying that body limitations are bothering me. A little bit of a switch of subject. Saturday, I went to do a park run. Podcast alum Stu, Matt, Paul, and NFL game predictors, Katie and Mark. We all met up to do a park run, and as it was, Stu helped me to be able to get all the park run stuff onto my phone, because I have previously done park runs. So we all got there, we all got to the start, we all set off. Stu, Mark and Katie were just gone. It was almost like they evaporated. Me and Paul were languishing at the back, and then I sort of put my earphones in and left Paul to it, and went about running 5k, which it's been more than a little while now since I ran 5k. It's probably about a mile further than I run each day, nearly each day. But a mile's a mile, it's not nothing. So I did it and I completed it. Did it on the running app. Also got it recorded through Parkrun. And then me and Paul were talking about, how long has it been since we last did one? And what the conversation of years came up, and I was trying to piece it together and where I was in my life and how long ago that was. It's like 2, 3, 5. Is it more than 5 years? That sort of thing. I couldn't believe that would even be a thing. There was no way. And I was like, well, I can probably track down some pictures, which will let me know how long ago it was. And between looking for pictures and the fact that I'd signed into Parkrun and got it logged, it actually told me how long ago the last parkrun I'd done was. It was 7 years ago. And I'm just... I can't believe it. I can't believe it was 7 years ago. But it was 7 years ago. I did complete this park run with a personal best, which, you'd expect after 7 years. I might have got a bit better at running. But yeah, absolutely blown away by that time. That time that has just vanished. Yeah. Craziness, absolutely crazy. So I developed a new fear recently. As some of you may know, over the last couple of years, maybe, I've developed a fear of death. It consumes a large amount of my time. Just that. It's too much to go into. Just the everything aspect of death. What will it be like? What will I experience? What will other people experience? What will will I be the lying in a bed for years, slowly passing away? Will it happen suddenly in the night? Will it happen in, a motor vehicle accident? Will it happen? Will I get struck by lightning? How will my children cope? What age will they be at? And so on and so forth. But I'm pleased to report I've now added a new fear to this. I think I might have mentioned it recently. But something I've been listening to podcasts, and something I've been hearing a lot about is people with children, older children, talking about how their children don't want to spend time with them. Often it's daughters, often it's fathers. And as a man who has many daughters, initially it was something that sort of pricked my ears, and as time's gone on, it's something that has become more apparent, and it's become this thing now, this fear. Like, how do you stay relevant in children's lives? They're naturally going to reach a point where they don't want to spend time with their father, with their parent. That's all part of being a teenager. And thinking how it's going to be to go through that 1, 2, 3 times. And I'm trying to do the maths. Like, as the eldest starts, will the youngest still want to spend time with me? Will the middle daughter still be in a position where she'll want to spend time with me? And maybe I can, try and enjoy spending time with the younger two, as the eldest is saying, "Oh, Dad, I don't want to spend time with you. You're boring, or you're embarrassing," or those sorts of things. It's a natural thing that will probably happen. But how will I deal with it? And what will that, when I spend my time going, what will death look like? What will that look like? Will it be sudden? One day we're having a laugh and a joke and building Lego and reading books and watching movies, and the next day it's, bedroom door slamming and "I hate you" and horrible, horrible music being played very loud. Will it be that? Or will it be steady? Will it be, "Oh, I don't really fancy doing that. I might go and sit in my room. I might, oh, I'm going to go and play this. Oh, I'm going to go and listen to this. Oh, I've got some homework to do." Will it be that? And then 6 months have gone by and you haven't spent any time with your child. So what I'm finding is that I can generally fill all of my time now with 50% a fear of death and 50% fearing that my children don't want to spend any time with me. So yeah, busy schedule for me. Got a lot of worrying to do. Let's change the subject. Let's talk about the fact that it's Valentine's Day today. Not today, this podcast, but it is the 14th of February today. Not when you hear this, as I like to say, but it is Valentine's Day. It's made me a bit sad. And I don't know why, but I think it's part of the stuff I'm dealing with. I remember when it used to mean something. It was like a bigger deal. This year I was debating whether I was going to buy a card. Didn't buy an actual gift of any real description. But I was thinking back and I was like, I remember when it used to be an event. And, buy presents and flowers and cards and do something, do a thing, make something of it. And it's made me sort of look back. I miss the old days. And I think this is something that ties all of this up nicely in a pretty bow. I don't know what's going on. I've been feeling down. I've been feeling sad. I've been missing things, aspects of years gone by. And I guess that's an age thing. You can't do the things that you could do when you were young, 20, Can't do that when you're 40 plus. Looking back, I'm enjoying a lovely glass of water and a non-alcoholic beer. Would I have been doing that 20 years ago? I can't tell you how much water I used to drink 20 years ago. Weirdly, I think it was a lot. But part of me feels like I've got a little bit stuck in the past at the moment. Spend too much time reminiscing. Not enough time, I don't know, moving forward. I think it's a fear. I think it's a fear of the future. I think it's a fear of what's to come. Busy old time. I was talking to somebody over the weekend, sort of outlining some of the stuff that I've got coming up over the next few months. Literally, we're February. 4 or 5 months, and it was like bang, 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 and it was like all the stuff that needs to have happened in that time, the stuff that needs to get done, like jobs and things, or activities and things, or things that just need doing in that time, and it was a lot. And I think the mind naturally runs away from stuff, stress, anxieties. A favourite word of mine. So maybe it's just that. Maybe it's just running away from the future towards the past. I don't know. But yeah, I had some other stuff. I have got some other stuff on my list. But this week's list just kept going. I could have spent the amount of time doing a podcast writing a list. Some weeks it's like I've got 3 things and 2 of those are entertainment based. And other weeks it's like I've got this and I've got this and I've got this and I've got this. And then more often than not, because the list is so big, I get to the start of the podcast and go, I'm just going to have to cut X number of things, which I have done this week. Some of you might be wondering if I cut the good stuff. Let's talk entertainment. Let's be entertaining. Entertainment wise, there's been a fair amount. I watched season 15 of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia in about a day. I started it one night, late-ish, like 10 o'clock. I think I watched an episode, maybe 2. By 10 o'clock the next day, I'd watched the entire series. Series 15. It is the longest running TV show, I think, or sitcom, or whatever you want to call it. Longest running. Which is nothing bad for a show that was going to be cancelled after its first series. There's some great stuff in that series. You do have to wonder, after 15 series, how are they still managing to make it good? but it's also Series 15. So you can kind of imagine what that's like. Some great jokes, some really funny stuff. The first episode is fantastic. Kind of one of those, if you're only going to watch one episode, I just watch the first episode sort of thing. At this point in time, I'm not really going to be recommending you watch Series 15 of a show if you haven't watched the rest. So, if you've seen Series 1 to 14, then yeah, give Series 15 a go. I finished Burn Notice. I watched all 7 series of Burn Notice. And by the end, I was glad it was finished. Which, saying that, is not really going to track with something I'm going to say later on. I honestly don't know what it was that they were trying to achieve by the end of Burn Notice. It felt like they just didn't have a plan to finish it. I don't know if it was one of those that they had, more series to do, and then they were like, no, we're going to cancel you. I don't know the situation. What I do know is that Series 7 just felt just all over the place, especially towards the back end. I'm really not sure what they thought they were trying to do with Michael, the main character. It just none of it really made a lot of sense. I was glad that it come to an end, even though, as with the long running series, you're just kind of sad to see these people go. They're a little bit like Friends in a lot of way, not the TV series. So yes, mixed feelings. Was glad it had finished. Also a little bit sad. But I had a realisation. And my realisation was that it would be a really good candidate to bring back. Maybe just do like one series. And just do that. All of the characters are off leading their lives and doing whatever. And for some reason, they all have to come back together for one series. And do like an overarching story. Do 10, 12 episodes. And just kind of have a bit of fun with it, sort of thing. All of a sudden I had this really sort of strong feeling where I was like, even though I was kind of glad that it finished, I think it's a good candidate for one that could easily be brought back for like a limited run. So there we go. With having, watched entire series in a day, with finishing a long-running series, I needed something else to watch, and the streaming gods did not disappoint. They heard my cry, and they stepped up with Raising Dion Season 2. One of those that I've not had a massive opportunity to watch stuff recently, so I've only watched the first episode and about half of the second episode, but already it seems to be tracking quite well. It seems to be doing quite a good continuation of the first series. I really liked the first series, so I was kind of glad to see that it was back. There's a character in it that I don't really like. I think I was on the fence a little in the first series, but at the start of the second series, that character is a little bit more on my I'm not really a fan of you list. So that's difficult when they're one of the main characters. So we're going to have to see how that one unfolds. Like I say, can't really tell you a lot because I can't really say that I've watched a lot of it. But so far, it has started out well. As some of you might remember, basically anybody who's been listening for the last 3 weeks, I've been working through the Spider-Man films. I watched all 3 of the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans and reviewed them. So now it is the turn of Amazing Spider-Man. Enter Andrew Garfield, Peter Parker, Emma Stone, is it, as Gwen Stacy, and a whole host of other people. These films were not liked. That's all I remember. These films were not liked. The second was heavily criticised, and as we know, it did not get a third. There are rumours that that's going to be corrected soon. People crying out for a third one currently, but as it stands, it only had a 2-film run. I feel like I've been watching the Spider-Man films with different eyes. Older eyes, I think, is probably it. I remember enjoying all of the Spider-Man films throughout. I also remember that they were all heavily criticised, so it was kind of that, well, I liked them sort of thing. I think watching them now, I'm seeing a lot more of why they were criticised. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it as quickly as I can so that I can get to my other point. I don't think Andrew Garfield is a very good Peter Parker. And I always have that thing, is I don't know how much of them is them in the suit rather than just doing a voiceover and somebody else being in the suit. I know Peter Parker is supposed to be like a nerd or a geek or whatever, but only through the fact that, you know, he was big into photography, he was big into science, he was intelligent and all that, and back X amount of time ago that would have had that, you know, nerd, geek, whatever. Nowadays that doesn't fly as much these days. So watching it now, Andrew Garfield, he's just a little bit too quirky as Peter Parker. Like, one minute it's like maybe he could be quote unquote cool, and then the next minute you're like, is he on the spectrum? You know, who is this version of Peter Parker? Something that was driving me up the wall. Some of the, I only really noticed it mostly with Dennis Leary, but there were scenes where somebody's talking to somebody. So in this instance, Dennis Leary's talking to Andrew Garfield. So Dennis Leary's face is facing away from the camera. Andrew Garfield's face is facing into the camera. And obviously in those bits, they just overdub Dennis Leary's voice. The problem was, in those scenes, Dennis Leary isn't talking. He's just there. So if you look at it carefully enough, it looks super weird. It's like that person's just there, but they're not talking, but then you can hear their voice. It was so weird. The other thing that I really noticed about that Spider-Man film is it's super tenuous. Like, the way they set up, like, all of the premise of that film, it feels like they were writing it whilst they were making it. It feels like they were like, how do we get him to do this? How do we get him here? Well, he needs to be this. He needs to be doing that. How do we get him there? And they were just writing it at the time. Like, a lot of the stuff is like, that doesn't make any sense. It's like, Peter Parker runs away and Uncle Ben goes to find him. Just wandering the streets. Just wandering the streets. Wandering around. Wandering the streets. It didn't feel overly natural. It just felt like, we've got to get him from here to here, and then from here to here, and from here to here. How do we do that? it didn't feel very much like they had a plan. It's weird. Other than that, you've got things like the CG and stuff for the lizard. Not great. Doesn't stand up. Now, the face is really weird. I kind of wish they'd leaned into the lizard aspect a bit more. Because it just looks weird and creepy. Something that is super cool in those films is when they do the first person Spider-Man perspective of like the swinging and stuff like that. There's a bit towards the back end where they're like, Spider-Man's going to save the day. We must help Spider-Man because he's going to save the day. None of these people have got a freaking clue who this guy is. He could be another supervillain for all they know. And they just blindly help him. It's like, Spider-Man's going to save the day. The police can't do it. And they're not even going to try. Spider-Man, who we know literally nothing about, he is going to do it. He saved one kid from a car. That's all that we needed to know. He's a good guy. Obviously he is. But they don't know that. It has been a little sad watching these films and seeing all these flaws with them. Flaws that I was potentially blind to originally. But it's been interesting going back and watching them. I don't think... I was going to say I don't think I would have naturally gone back to watch them, but that's exactly what I have done. I have gone back to watch them. I think this was all to do with the new one. And I was a bit like, hell, if we're going to watch the new one, why don't we just go with watching them all? And then watching the new one as like a crown, a hat on a hat. So, at this point in time, we've got Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man 2, which was, oh boy. And then we can move into the Tom Holland Spider-Man films. Yes, so let's look forward to that. Computer games, no surprises. Ghost of Tsushima is the only thing I've been playing. I wanted to get a copy of Madden 22, I think it is, just because I like the Super Bowl and stuff, but didn't pick one up. And I've kind of got an urge to go back and replay Guardians of the Galaxy, which is kind of cool, because I purposefully didn't just play it straight off again. I wanted to actually, want to go back and play it. Also, the new Horizon Forbidden West comes out this week, I think. Already had amazing reviews, which is making me want to play the first one, because let's face it, I won't be getting the new one anytime soon because they want £70 for it. No. So Ghost of Tsushima. Something that's felt strange is it doesn't play as I remember. I remember key things about this game. One was you got so far and you progressed so far, and then the game was like, hey, remember the area that you started in? Remember how you were like going around finding stuff, unlocking things, this, that and the other? Well, guess what? Here's all of the stuff that was in the first area that you haven't unlocked. Go back and do it. And you got like, you basically 100%ed the area before moving on. But that hasn't seemed to have happened. And I'm not sure why. I don't know if I've maybe not progressed far enough in the story. The other thing being is, and this is a little bit of a spoiler, but I still haven't got the ghost armour yet. And I'm starting to feel that I'm really far into the game. And I'm starting to feel like I've missed something. Especially seen as a key character, I don't know, let's say, for spoiler's sake, the character that gives you the armor isn't around anymore. So I'm starting to wonder if something's gone awry. Especially with, like, as I've said previously, you know, the extensive glitches in the game. I'm starting to wonder if something's gone wrong. What I have got is the game has opened up the DLC section, but I've kind of shied away from it because I was trying to do a lot of side missions, unlock a lot of areas, find various things. So yes, I'm not entirely sure what is going on. It feels a bit weird, but I will endeavour to play on and find out what's going on. That's that. There we go. That's the podcast. That's your lot, I'm afraid. Yeah, that's it. I'll catch you next time. Take care of yourselves. Be good to each other. Bye. So there you go. What do you think of that? Another podcast done. Another one gone. And another week closer to whatever it is that you're looking forward to. Big thank you for listening along. Big thank you for, well, everything really. A big thank you if you are a subscriber. It's a cool gang to be in. It's a cool club. You can subscribe by clicking that button, and there you go. You're in the club. You can also check out our website, thecookiecast.com. Got social media links and email links, which allows you to get in touch with us and open that conversation. There we go. That's it for this one. Till next time, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then.